You end most days having been busy the entire time and somehow the thing that actually mattered didn't get done. It's not a time problem. It's a design problem. Hello, listeners. Welcome to the Science of Self, where you improve your life from the inside out. Peter Hollins tackles this directly in How to Finish This Book, and in this section, he introduces a deceptively simple structure that forces you to decide before the day starts exactly what deserves your best thinking and what deserves almost none of it. We're going to be looking at the 1-3-5 rule. Prioritize one big task, 3 mediums, and 5 small ones daily. Chapter 2. Separate tasks based on importance with the 1-3-5 rule. I must create a system or be enslaved by another man's. I will not reason and compare. My business is to create. William Blake. One unspoken law of productivity that we'll return to again and again throughout this book: not all tasks are created equal. With that in mind, it is inherently true that we cannot approach every task in exactly the same way. When you're anxious, overthinking, overwhelmed, or expecting too much of yourself, you're making an error. All of these tasks are equally important. But are they? You may unwittingly send yourself this message every time you create a to-do list. Think about it. No matter what the item is, its position on the list already implies that it shares equal status with all the other items and carries the same weight. But does it? Having priorities goes a lot deeper than just identifying what looks to be the most important task at any one time. Ranking things in terms of importance is one thing, but truly understanding our priorities requires that we make a pretty serious mindset shift. We're not just here to complete tasks. The tasks we do flow from the goals that we ourselves have freely chosen. That's a subtle but very important distinction. We need to proactively create a system to filter out what matters most to us. And that's a question of values, purpose, and meaning. Without our own system, we get swallowed into other people's, or else we just ride along with whatever momentum existed before us. We're reactive, not proactive. This means we waste our time on low-impact work. We waste our energy managing stress that never needed to exist in the first place. We waste our focus pursuing things we don't care about. The 1-3-5 rule is a way to be proactive, deliberate, and focused about how your time and energy are used, and it's easy to follow. All you do is plan each and every day around 1 big task, 3 medium tasks, and 5 small tasks. This balance more closely resembles the way our brains naturally want to work. We're not machines, and we don't work linearly. Every task tends to contain a single, most important component that deserves our full concentration. Completing it leads to a big dopamine boost and sense of reward. A few that require our attention but not total devotion. A moderate balance between effort and reward. And the rest are small, everyday wins that are really just there to keep the engines running. Low-hanging fruit and easy wins that boost motivation to keep going. We struggle not because of the tasks themselves, but because we've given too much to a task that didn't deserve it. Not everything warrants our time and attention, and when it does, it doesn't necessarily require all of it. Clearly teasing these things apart prevents overwhelm, brings clarity, and taps into the brain's reward system by balancing challenge with achievability. Identify your one big task. To reiterate, not all tasks are created equal. Who decides how to rank them? It should be you. If you fail to identify for yourself what this single important and non-negotiable task is, you risk allowing lazy habit, momentum, or other people to take over and decide for you. Just because other people tell you something is urgent doesn't automatically mean it is. Just because a peer has decided that a certain task holds the most value for them doesn't mean that it has to hold the most value for you. Just because you find a task enjoyable doesn't necessarily mean that it drives meaningful progress. First, brainstorm all the tasks you need to do. Take a few moments to list everything out, no matter how enormous or how trivial it may seem. This exercise alone may be illuminating. Have you only been making assumptions and guesses about what needs to be done? Next, pick out the most important thing. Your one big task should do most of the heavy lifting. That means it needs to create the highest amount of value, instigate the greatest degree of movement, or otherwise bring the highest yield to the table. Here are some other things it has to be. Genuinely meaningful, not just urgent. Specific. It needs to speak to a precise goal and intention. Most impactful. There may be plenty of helpful little things you could do, but your one big task is impactful enough that it's definitive, i.e., it could stand alone. Your one big task could be anything. It depends on your goals, resources, and constraints. It could be writing an important email, creating a plan or key outline, having a difficult conversation, booking an important flight, making a key decision, completing a research paper, or hiring a new team member. Tip: your one big thing deserves you at your best, so schedule your work on this task for those times of day when you're feeling alert, energized, and focused. A bonus tip: if your one big thing is a little too big, that's okay. Break it down and tackle it in stages. Plan your 3 medium tasks. The beauty of this method is in how it encourages you to keep things simple and straightforward. It's a time management tool as well as a method for self-regulation. Seeing just a few key tasks on your to-do list every day is psychologically easier and more rewarding. Medium tasks do matter, but they don't require the absolute best of us. The approach here is balance. You want to give these tasks their due without letting them expand, creep, or take over too much. That means it's important to set upper and lower bounds for the attention and focus you're willing to invest. To put this another way, these things need to be done, but they don't need to be done first, nor do they need to be done perfectly. They're necessary supportive tasks, such as attending meetings or lectures, reading additional papers and reports, preparing for a conversation, weighing up options, research. Now that you know what your one big task is, consider the rest of what's on your plate and ask what 3 things are most able to support you in achieving it. Tip: the way to keep these important but not that important tasks from eating up more attention than they need is to set firm time limits. Schedule a block of, say, 45 or 60 minutes, then reassess once your alarm goes off. If you don't set time limits, you risk getting distracted away from the task that matters more. If you like, batch similar tasks together to stay in the same mental gear and cut down on context switching. Bonus tip: be realistic. When you're starting out, it's usually better to undercommit than to expect too much and then disappoint yourself. Aim small. You'll give yourself the reward of over-delivering. Select 5 small tasks. Your small tasks are also supportive, but they're, well, small. These are the things that'll take you 10 minutes or less to do. Reorganizing some files, sending a quick message, RSVPing to an invitation, throwing something away, making a quick reservation, double-checking some details. Many of these tasks may seem too small to even bother with. Should we really be putting them on our to-do list at all? Yes. There are a few good reasons for doing so. Reason 1, you clear mental clutter, and that not only feels great, it also brings focus and clarity. Reason 2, you build motivation. Every completed task is a little rewarding dopamine boost, which then inspires you to keep going. Reason 3, you build momentum. These tasks may be small, but they get you moving, and once you're moving, you can turn your attention to bigger things. By identifying these small tasks ahead of time, you already know that it's not the end of the world if you don't complete all of them. These things are complementary and extra bonuses. They're not meant to dominate your thoughts or leave you feeling guilty or obligated. If you don't get around to a small task, let it go without guilt. Schedule it for tomorrow, or just drop it if possible. Okay, so now you have 3 different categories, but you still don't have a system that helps you manage yourself day to day. Here are some additional tips on how to proceed once you've identified what's important and what isn't. Be flexible. The system serves you. You don't serve the system. Life is unpredictable. If something doesn't come together every now and then, just make modifications and move on. Adjust as you go. The 1-3-5 system is something to help you manage your tasks. It's not meant to be another task. Feel free to adjust the number of tasks you can manage according to your preferences, goals, and limits. For example, you might prefer a 1-2-3 ratio. Spend yourself wisely. As a rule, spend your peak energy and focus, typically in the morning, on the big task, and gradually move to medium and small tasks as the day wears on. Don't attempt the big task when you're depleted or overwhelmed, and don't waste peak energy on small errands. Have a routine. Take a few minutes each morning or evening to create and review your 1-3-5 list. Make time to celebrate wins, no matter how small. If you've fallen short, pay attention to what went well and commit to doing more the following day. Don't beat yourself up. Consistency always matters more than perfection. Monitor your progress. Every week or month, ask yourself, what are the tasks I'm routinely leaving undone? Why? What is the time of day I'm most productive? Am I consistently achieving what I set out to? Is my appraisal of the importance of different tasks accurate? It's completely normal to need to fine-tune, reassess, or go back to the drawing board now and then. Your priorities will change. Change with them. What matters is that you are no longer sitting passively waiting for tasks to come at you so you can deal with them whack-a-mole style. Listeners, structure isn't about discipline. It's about not letting the small stuff crowd out the work that actually moves your life forward. Here are the primary takeaways from today's episode. Ranking tasks isn't just about picking priorities. It's about mindset shift. We must understand our goals to prioritize effectively, avoiding stress and wasted effort. Plan your day with 1 big task, 3 medium tasks, and 5 small ones. This method keeps you focused on impactful work without getting overwhelmed. And we'll leave you with this thought or question from Henry David Thoreau. It's not enough to be busy. The question is, what are we busy about?